Hi guys, welcome to another episode of BCL University, where today we will be showing you how to install Atlantis cable rail system, where we will be turning these products that you can get on our online store into this. So before we get started today, I just want to warn you guys that what we're doing is a little bit of a hybrid. So what we're going to incorporate here is the cable rail easy system from Atlantis Rail, and then also the Sunrail Nautilus system. And what it involves is the 2-inch post and top rail that's made out of stainless steel. So we're going to be incorporating both of these things to give you guys an idea a little bit of how to do both. The first thing we want to do is mark the height of our rail, which for us is 36 inches. And then we want to make a mark on the center of our post, and we'll put the top edge of our side mount on that mark, and then mark where we're going to pre-drill our holes. Now that we've marked where our side mount goes, we want to pre-drill our holes. We're going to use our small drill bit that's in our Atlantis toolkit. We provide those for you guys in there. We'll just use that, put it in our drill to pre-drill our holes. Now that we have our side mount holes pre-drilled, our next step is to figure out where our rail mounting base goes. To do that, I will measure over from the post and put a mark at 39 inches because that's the length of our rail section. And then because I built this display, I built it so I could split the difference between these two deck boards, and that'll give me my side-to-side component to keep my rail section straight. So we'll place the outside edge of the cylinder on our 39-inch mark. We'll put it in place, we'll mark our holes, as I'm doing now, and then we will pre-drill them before we screw them in. As we finish installing the mounting base, I want to give you guys a couple things to keep in mind. One is these are the wood screws that you'll be using. They're 3-inch wood screw, and they're very large. And they're large because the mounting bases take a lot of tension and torque, as you can imagine with the cables being installed. So you need to have good blocking underneath your decking. So please keep that in mind, and you always want to pre-drill your holes when you're dealing with something like this. All right, now that we have our rail mounting base installed, our next step is to install our end post with tensioners. So to do that, we just stick it on here, and it's installed. Unfortunately, it's not quite that easy. So what we need to do this is we need to put a little bit of Lido weld around our base. As I put on the Lido weld, you'll notice that I'm putting a nice thin bead around the top. And you want to do that so you don't have a bunch of excess. And as you slide the post on, you'll have a nice secure connection all the way down along the metal. And you've got some time to work. Alright, now that we have our post installed, the next thing to do is install our top rail. So to do that, we want to first attach our elbow, and we'll put some Lido weld on that and attach it. Okay, so we have our Lido weld on our elbow. We're just going to work this into our post. As we do that, just work it in. We're going to slide our side mount on, and we're going to install this into our post. So our side mount is now installed, and what I'll do next is take our Allen wrench that's in our rail kits, and I will tighten up this inset screw that is on the side mount. Now the great thing about the side mount brackets is that they have a nice margin of error of about a 1/2 inch to play with when you're working with this system. Next we'll install our swivel ends. Alright, we've gotten our rail assembly put together and everything's secure, so our next step is to figure out where to put our swivel ends on our 4x4 post. So I've already marked where our bottom swivel end is going to go, and so from there I'll just use our template, which is in our toolkits, and I'll put it on the mark that I've made, and from there mark where we need to pre-drill our holes. We'll put on our swivel ends, secure those, and then we'll start running our cables so we can finish up this project. Alright, I'm just going to screw in this last screw here, and we'll be finished up with our swivel ends. So we're moving along in our project here, and if you order a Sunrail system with the posts that already have the tensioners applied, you'll notice that they come with these bands on the tensioners. And this is just to keep the cones from falling off during transport. So you'll need to just cut these off and make sure that you're careful when you cut them off so you don't cut into the stainless steel. So be careful when you do that. Now that we have our sleeves off, we want to take all the heads of our tensioners out 3/4 of an inch. This is because we have a shorter run. For longer runs, you'll want to go further. But we're almost there now. We've got it to 3/4 of an inch. And this will give us plenty of room to tension our cables in the future. Alright, we're going to start running our cables. So I'm going to insert this cable into our swivel end to get started. Now when it goes in there, it goes in about 7/8 of an inch. So just be aware of that, and I'll just kind of hand tighten it. I'll get my wrenches that are in our rail kits, so they're handy. Just finishing tightening this up, and looks like we're there. Once I have that tightened up, as you can see, cable's nice and secure. We're going to run this across to the other side, and we're going to cut it at the back end of our cone. That's a good rule of thumb to use, but remember, rule of thumb, rot, so be careful. So cut it at the back end of your cone, and then we'll just keep running our cables across using this first cable as our reference. I went through and cut all of our cables, which I'll mention, I really suggest getting one of our cutters on our website. These work really well for keeping your cable in a nice circle so that you can enter them easily into the cones of the tensioners and swivel ends. So I recommend using that. So we have all of our cables ran. I've tightened up all the heads, so now we're ready to tension the cables. To do that, a very important thing to remember is you want to start in the middle and then work your way out. So you'll tighten this one up and go one under, one over, one under, one over, one under, one over until you're done. That'll keep your posts nice and straight as you tension up your cables. Well, we've glued, screwed, tightened, measured, done all sorts of things, but this project is finally finished. For any more product information, go to bclumberstore.com, and thanks for watching another episode of BCL University.